of course we'll resume from where we stopped. Okay, last day I just gave you in fact the gist of the all right, Act 1. Okay, so although I have the slides here, the slides prepared for the previous semester, I'm not just depending upon all these slides, just changing. We'll just come to Act 2 right now. I think we have to begin. So shall we begin Act 2 today? Haven't we finished Act 1? I want your feedback. Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. So I'll just maybe for the sake of just 2-minute quick review. Some of you might have missed the class, right? Okay. So this is the Pulitzer Prize winning title of Tracy Letts, the great American playwright, and we know it is Osage County because the play is set in the county house of Beverly Weston, right? And the time is August 2007, and we have this is of course the story of the reunion of an American family, and we understand that the play is revolving around the death of the patriarch of the family, that is Beverly Weston, and we understand as we move forward that this is of course a troubled family, a family which has been just disintegrating, or which is just devastated by a number of issues, and we understand, all right, the problems the important characters suffer from. First we have Beverly Weston, who is on one side a poet and another side an alcoholic, and the second character, that is of course the heroine of the tragicomedy or black comedy, is Violet Weston. We understand that Violet Weston suffers from mouth cancer, and she is addicted to cigarette and cigarette chain. She's a chain smoker. She's addicted to cigarette, and she is also alcoholic, right? And besides, we understand a number of secrets, right? There are a number of secrets that just disintegrate and devastate the family, all right? And the prologue we saw, prologue is an introduction to the most significant character, that is Beverly Weston, and the interview of Jonah, the Negro, Red Indian, young 27-year-old cook cum caregiver is taking place in the prologue, and through the prologue we just of course have a chance to look into the past and present of the Western family, all right, and we understand how diabolic or how negative and how abusive a character is the most important character, Violet Weston. Now we also look at the character of, we can see the character of Beverly Weston. He is of course holding a glass of whiskey, and we have the conversation between Jonah and Beverly, and we understand the background of Jonah as well. We saw that the other day, and thereafter we came to Act 1, and in Act 1 we understand that the Act 1 is after several weeks, that is of course after several weeks of the prologue, and something has happened in order to give us the fact that, in order to give the impression to the spectators, the viewers, that something might have happened in this time span of several weeks. We have Act 1, and okay, we saw that Beverly Weston is just he has disappeared, and he has not been seen for some days, and Violet informs everyone, and a lot of people have come there, and in the very opening scene we see Ivy, then Violet and Matty Faye and Charlie, that is of course Matty Faye's husband, and thereafter okay, we understand that Violet is just ridiculing or just snipping at or just chastising Ivy for not being very romantic and not for finding a suitable partner or lover or husband for her. Okay, and later we are informed that the boat of Beverly is missing, and after some time we have the arrival of Ivy's older sister, that is Barbara. Barbara and her family, Bill, her husband, and their 14-year-old Jean come from Colorado, that is Boulder in Colorado. Thereafter, we have a very violent accusation of Barbara Barbara is being accused by Violet for just abandoning her family, that is her father and her mother, and Violet is of the opinion that her father just suffered from a lot of pain, or rather she is insinuating the fact that it could be because of the brutal relinquishment of Barbara of the family of Beverly Weston, or rather Weston family, that Beverly Weston has just disappeared right now. Okay, and we see the 14-year-old girl Jean having friendship with Jonah, and we also hear from Jean that her parents are on the verge of a separation. All right, and later we have in Act 1 the argument between Barbara and Bill, and we understand the problem of the couple, Bill and Barbara, and we also hear the problem that is Bill is having, of course, extramarital affairs. All right, and thereafter we have the ending of Act 1, in which we listen to the local sheriff Dion Gilbo. He comes and he breaks the news that Beverly has been found drowned, and that's of course very shocking to the children, Barbara and her husband Jean. They are all so shocked that Beverly is no more, and the sheriff is asking one of them to identify the body of Beverly Weston, and Barbara along with Jill gets ready to identify the body of Beverly Weston, and the scene, that is of course scene 4 of Act 1, comes to an end with the appearance of intoxicated, drunken Violet Weston. Now we move on to Act 2, Scene 1. Okay, I thought of just going for a very quick analysis of Act 2, but maybe not all of you read the play. I will go for, of course, rather detailed analysis of Act 2, Scene 1. Are you all ready for a discussion of Act 2, Scene 1? All of you? I think you have, now that I gave you a gist of the prologue and Act 1, I think you can, maybe some of you who missed the class can just connect to the subsequent Act 2. Can I go forward? Do you have any doubt, any of you? Do you want me to just answer any of your doubts or questions before we start the discussion of Act 2, Scene 1? Please respond. Hello. Come on, please respond. Sir. Yeah, can I move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. In between, as I go forward, if you have any doubt or If you need any kind of clarification, please ask me. All right, now we are in Act 2, Scene 1. Remember, Act 2 is just having a single scene, and this is an afternoon. All right, the time of Act 2, Scene 1 is 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and remember, the funeral of Beverly Weston is over, and we are just going to have the funeral dinner. And remember, in West, especially in America and Europe, the funeral dinner is very important. Okay, here in our culture also, right, especially in Christian, especially Christian as well as Catholic culture, you will see the after funeral dinner is often very important. So here we have a funeral dinner of Beverly Weston, and in this funeral dinner, all the important family members, right, the family members as well as the friends of the deceased join. All right, and let us look at, in fact, this scene or Act 2 has two sections or two parts. Part 1, we listen to Violet, and it is just a kind of soliloquy. It cannot be called a soliloquy, it's a kind of monologue, right? We have a monologue of Violet, all right? And the second part of Act 2, the only scene, we have a discussion or a conversation between Barbara and Karen, the young daughter of Beverly Weston. So Act 2, Scene 1, everything is set for the funeral dinner, and it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have Violet. She is just standing in the study room, and she has of course some pills with her. Okay, she is right now holding the bottle of pills with her. All right, and from this we understand that she needs the drug, the pill, right? And also remember the fact that most of the members of the family, especially Violet in the initial scene, is dressed in black. Okay, so this is after the funeral, and most of them are in black. Okay, so in this monologue we listen to Violet talking about Beverly. Rather, this monologue is addressed to her husband Beverly, and she just feels very sad that this tragedy took place in the family. And she is also, okay, one side we see her taking some pills from the bottle of pills, and she is also thumbing through the books of Beverly Weston in the study room, and she takes the most important book, that is the only anthology by Beverly Weston, and the title is Meadowlark, and she is just weeping for Beverly, because we understand that this anthology is dedicated to Violet. Okay, so from that we understand Beverly Weston, he wants to express his love for his wife Violet, and the first anthology is dedicated, right? So she is holding the anthology Meadowlark, and she just cries, and she says that, Beverly, you are responsible for the very pathetic condition of our family. So whatever mayhem we have in the family is because of you. All right, so from all this, and from what is going to be performed on stage, we understand that Violet has a very important role in the death or the suicide of Beverly Weston, but she is trying to she tries from that guilt feeling, and she is just trying to give the feeling to the children, her daughters, and herself, that I am not responsible, right? I am not responsible for the death. Maybe, okay, you can see, you can compare Violet in Osage County to maybe Lady Macbeth, right? Okay, because both have done right, maybe similar kind of, not exactly the same, but this is the kind of guilt feeling that Violet suffers at this moment, right? And after some time, the focus is just on right. We move to from study room. We move to the dining room, and in the dining room we see Barbara, the elder daughter, and she is along with Karen, her sister, and they are just arranging the funeral dinner. They keep the napkin and other things on the table, and it's quite interesting that Karen is just she's very talkative, and she's talkative all the time about her right, would-be, that is of course Steve, all right. And we understand that it is quite unbecoming of Karen to talk about her future, her husband, her lover, when they are getting ready to just have the funeral dinner. Okay, so we hear a lot about Karen's plan for marriage, honeymoon, and also we hear about Steve, her fiancé, in this act that is Act 2. All right. Now we understand certain things about Karen and Steve, and yeah, this is what we understand. That is, of course, they are just going to right, a place called Belize. You know, Belize is, of course, right. Belize is a very important city in Central America, which is, of course, once known as British Honduras. Okay, so Karen tells that she will go to Belize in Central America along with Steve, and she also says that she is planning to get married to Steve on the New Year's Day. That's very important. Remember, the time of the play is 2007 August. So the day of the planned maybe the right, marriage of Karen and Steve is New Year's Day. That is 1st January 2008. That you have to remember. And she talks to Barbara all these things. Okay, and we also understand that Karen is, of course, so overwhelmed by the fact that she is getting married. All right. So all this discussion is going on in the dining room. Okay, Act 2, Scene 1. Initially, we have the monologue of Violet Weston in the study room. Second, we have a scene from the dining room. We have Barbara and Karen talking about Karen's marriage, her would-be, and now the next we have another maybe scene, right? Same, of course, the Act 2 just one scene, but we see another group. That is, of course, we have Violet, Matty Faye, and Ivy. All right, and this is in the upstairs of the huge county house of Beverly Weston. We see Violet, the mother, and Violet's sister Matty Faye, and Ivy. And Ivy, they are all okay. All of them, the three of them, are dressed in black suit, and they are looking at a box of old photographs, something like an album. All right, and now Violet displays a photo of some of the pretty dresses, right? She has a lot of very beautiful dress, and she shows the photograph of some of the good dress of Violet as well as the other members from this album, and she is blaming Ivy for just wearing a normal suit, right? Okay, so she is again just reprimanding Ivy for not being very romantic. Okay, so thereafter, of course, we have some other photographs in which this is again a flashback, right? Okay, so we in the second photograph we see a picture of Violet and Beverly. All right, this is very interesting, and that is of course soon after the very marriage of Violet and Beverly, and the very picture is a picture from the book tour of Beverly Weston. Beverly Weston, after the publishing of Meadowlark, the anthology of poems, went on book tour promoting his title. Okay, and one of the photographs of Beverly and Violet dressed in very glamorous dress is just shown to Ivy, Mattifee and all, and there is of course a very good discussion, and now after some time, all right, there is it is also said that this function, right, this picture is taken from New York, right? So New York, we know, most of the characters, they just want to go to New York, they wish to settle in New York, and New York, the significance of the city is highlighted there, and we understand. Okay, remember, Tracy Letts is foreshadowing something very tragic or dangerous or catastrophic that is going to happen to New York. So New York is always very important in the history of United States of America. All right, so also New York is important in the past of Beverly as well as Violet. They were in New York for the book promotion. Now the other characters, they also wish to go to New York. So the very commercial, financial, cultural significance of New York is highlighted by Tracy Letts, and he is foreshadowing what is going to happen in New York in the maybe, all right, he's just predicting it, understand? Okay, and he's also just predicting or foreshadowing the kind of political change that is going to happen in United States of America, all right, in all these scenes, right? So after some time we have a talk on Little Charlie, and it is mentioned that Little Charlie overslept and he couldn't attend the funeral of his uncle, that is Beverly Weston, and when Mattifee is accusing her son of oversleeping and being irresponsible, it is Ivy who is defending Little Charles, all right, and this is something which is very important, because we know that there is a reason for Ivy to defend Little Charlie. Okay, and now we have a hint that Ivy is having a relationship, right? And now Violet, of course, continues to demonstrate all the dress there, and Violet is going to her maybe closet, and she is just she's offering a dress for Ivy, a better dress for Ivy to try on. Okay, and Ivy and she says that it is because you are dressed in a mediocre way. Violet says that it's because Ivy is dressed in a mediocre way that Ivy doesn't get a man. She hasn't found a man, right? And that very moment, Ivy replies to the shock of everybody there, that is of course Violet and Mattifee, and also to the shock of the spectators, that she has a man in her life. And this is something very curious, right? So the characters around her, Violet and Mattifee, are quite curious to know who is this man in the life of Ivy, but she doesn't reveal that. All right, so now the scene comes to Tracy Letts very effectively creates curiosity in the mind of the viewers as well as the characters there on stage, and the scene is again shifted to the kitchen. Okay, we have another scene. So remember, you just remember everything brick by brick. It's very easy to understand. So Act 2, only scene, initial we have Violet, all right. Thereafter we have the conversation between Barbara and Karen. Then we have the conversation among Violet, Mattifee and Ivy. Now we have another scene, and the scene, location is, all right, kitchen. In the kitchen we see Bill, Barbara's husband, Bill. Then we have Jean, the 14-year-old daughter of Barbara and Bill. Then of course Steve, Karen's boyfriend, all right. So we have a very this is of course they have just come from some shopping. They were out purchasing some grocery. Now they are sitting in the kitchen and having a conversation, and we from this conversation we understand a lot about Steve, the fiancé of Karen. And what we understand is he is a businessman, and we understand that he has invested, rather we are not sure how much, right. He has some investments in the security, right, like stock exchange. And we understand that of course he often travels to Middle East, and he has also some some overseas or maybe financial transactions and some international bank account and all. Anyway, we understand that he is a businessman who has some kind of investment in security and stock exchange, right, stock market, right. And thereafter, that is of course the scene in the kitchen, right. And now we have another scene, that is from the living room. We come back to the living room. Here we have Jean, the 14-year-old girl, and her mother Barbara. Jean is watching the TV, and in every family we know when the kids, especially teenage kids, they watch the TV. Maybe if they are into too much watching of the television, parents just scold them. Similarly, here we have a scene from the living room, in which Jean is being just reprimanded for watching maybe the television. Okay, so Barbara is of course sad and angry, not because she is into watching television, but because it is just after the funeral, and they are getting ready for the funeral dinner, all right. And now after the angry reprimanding or scolding of Barbara goes out, and now we have something very important. There comes Steve. Steve enters the living room where Jean is watching the television, all right. And now they are having a conversation, and Steve is sitting beside Jean. He gets closer and closer to Jean, okay, conversing many things and all, and he just speaks out that she smells pot, right, like she smells some marijuana or some narcotics, right, which is of course used for smoking. And Jean just denies that, all right. And he continues he continues the fact that he smells pot on her, okay, and she is denying it. She continues to deny that, right. After that, Steve is complaining that it's very hot there. So this is a kind of incremental repetition. Most of the characters just complain that it's very hot in the room, it's very hot in the house. And I told you this is again a theme for discussion. Heat as a symbol, right, and we know the answer, right. This is of course, right, it is not the kind of climate alone. It is of course the psyche or the psychological maybe there are psychological reasons for this, the very hot or the heat each of the characters feel, right. Now Steve is complaining that it is very, very hot there, because we know he is having an evil purpose he is a womanizer. This is what we understand. He is a womanizer, and he has that very negative purpose. Each time he sits close to Jean and talks to her. Okay, and the conversation continues, and they tell each other that they are going to meet of course in the evening, right? Okay, and later we have the arrival of Karen. Now Jean and Steve are having a conversation, and after some time Karen enters there. Okay, and look at this. This is something very important. When Karen understands the fact that Jean smokes, Karen, Jean's aunt, is rebuking her, and she tells that it's very bad that she talks at a young age, and she tells that she is very, very young to smoke. Okay, and Steve and Karen are asking cigarette, and as they are smoking, Jean is also asking for a cigarette, and Jean in fact it is right, like the other characters, like Karen and Steve are asking each other for cigarette, and Jean has some cigarettes with her. To the surprise of everybody, Jean is having cigarettes with her, and she is giving some of the cigarettes to Karen as well as Steve. All right, and later, okay, after that they just smoke for some time. Rather, when they are about to smoke, they say we better go out, right? It's not good that we smoke indoors. And they go out, and as they are going out, Karen has a lot of obsessions in the family house, all right, in the house, and she tells Steve and Jean that she can show them the very places she spent with her sisters Barbara and Ivy when she was she was a girl, she was very young. Like, she says that she can show them her sister's old fort, right? Old fort is like as boys and girls, of course, you play a lot of games, and you of course have hide and seek and all, right? So she says that she can show them, right, the place or the sports, right, the locations they spend their girlhood days, right? And now Steve and Karen just go out. They want to smoke. Jean is left inside the room. Jean doesn't go out, right? But Steve is promising Jean that he will of course meet her later. Okay, and we can see something. All right, I think yesterday there was, of course, yesterday or today there is a department is having a webinar on like the good and the bad touch, right? The good and bad touch. Hello, can you hear me? Any problem? Any problem? I'm not just
We can see you.
yeah. Okay, so I was just telling you that I think one of the departments, I forgot the department, in our college is organizing a webinar or some program on the good touch and the bad touch. Okay, the good touch and the bad touch, right? Something like that, right? And now you have a scene in which you see the bad touch. That is, you have Steve just rubbing on the face of Jean as Steve is just going out, and we understand that this is exactly the kind of bad touch. All right, and from this we understand that Karen unfortunately has found the bad guy, although she is so proud and happy that she had found the perfect man in the world, right? Now after that we come to another scene, and in the next scene we have Charlie. Charlie arrives. That is Matty Faye's husband. Remember, Matty Faye is I know most of you know who Matty Faye is, right? Violet's sister, Matty Faye's husband Charlie. Charlie comes. All right, and Charlie comes along with little Charles. Okay, so Matty Fay and Charlie, their son little Charles. And now little Charles, we have a conversation between Charlie and little Charles. Little Charles is so sad why he overslept and he missed the funeral of uncle. All right, and little Charles is accusing Charlie. All right, little Charles is accusing his father for just okay, maybe, all right, he says that you are responsible. Okay, you did not just yeah, you did not wake me up, or rather I couldn't wake up because of you. Okay, and we understand that in fact his father, little Charlie's father Charlie, had set the alarm, but because of power failure, because of lack of electricity, the alarm didn't work and Charlie overslept and Charlie couldn't attend the funeral. And now when he comes for the funeral dinner, he is so sad and worried, and okay, more than the pain and sadness and all, he is afraid that his mother is going to just bully him or just scold him. All right, like, but we understand that Charlie, his father, is just consoling him. Don't worry, my son, don't worry, nobody is going to. Okay, so we have a very emotional scene, and from this we understand the love, affection and care and the kind of psychological support that the father within quotation, right, Charlie has for his son, little Charlie, son again within quotation. You understand that? All right. Now we have all right. Yeah. After that, of course, this conversation is little long. After that, we have we come to the scene in which we have the dinner. All right. We have the dining hall. We have Barbara and Bill in the dining room, and they are having an argument. You know what they argue about. They are already separated, but in the drama, okay, we understand that they are about to just divorce. They have submitted the legal papers for a legal divorce, and there is an argument between Barbara and Bill in the dining room, and Barbara is accusing Bill of being an absent parent. This is very important. Okay, remember in this scene we have Bill and Barbara is accusing Bill of an absent parent. What does it mean? The father has always been absent when the baby or when the daughter was growing up. So this is the accusation of Barbara, but we understand that we have also an accusation of Violet. Violet, the mother, is accusing Barbara of her absence. Right, you went away, you didn't care for your parents, and because you just relinquished the family, your father had a he was heartbroken. So that Barbara is accusing her husband of an absent parent. All right, and now we have a heated discussion and argument between Barbara and Bill, and we of course listen to the very kind of argument, quarrel, and Barbara says that she is sick of being fair in her world, right? Rather, she says that her world is, this is important, this is a quotation from the conversation dialogue of Barbara. She says that her world is falling apart. Her world is falling apart. Barbara says, my world is falling apart. And Bill just accuses Barbara of dragging Jean into the madhouse, that is the house of Beverly Weston. Okay, so we understand that the world, the dialogue of Barbara, my world is falling apart. Rather, Bill is accusing Barbara Bill complains that Barbara's world is falling apart, and Barbara says that, okay, I can just yeah, I am sick of my world which is falling apart. And Bill is asking or accusing Barbara why Jean was brought into the madhouse. So remember, so when we have all these accusations, quarrels, fightings and all, we have to remember one of the themes of Osage County of Tracy Letts is familial responsibility and entrapment. Familial responsibility, the responsibility of a father, the responsibility of a mother, the responsibility of a husband, the responsibility of a wife. Similarly, the responsibilities of children again, right? All that familial responsibility and entrapment. So we have a lot of argument between Barbara, Bill, and now after some time, right, we have an announcement. What could be the announcement, Shilpa? Austin, anybody? What is the announcement? Now the quarrel is going, you read the play. The quarrel is going on between Bill and Barbara, and it is of course an erratic kind of quarrel, very, very heated argument. Suddenly there is an announcement. What's the announcement? Shilpa? Or anybody? Anita, you read the text. Or yeah.
Sir, I think it's about Bill talking that he will take Jean along with him.
No. This is something else, right? This is an announcement from somebody else, and I would say I'm giving you another clue. This is an announcement from the cook, yeah, caregiver. Jean is announcing something. What could be that? They are getting ready for the dinner. So what is that? Dinner is ready, isn't it? Please respond. Come on. Yeah. Remember that. Now remember, this is, of course, as you read this, you will understand how successful Tracy Letts is as a dramatist, right? We think that maybe this quarrel will end up in kind of maybe some kind of violence, right? But suddenly the dramatist intervenes and he makes the character Jonah Manovata, the cook and caregiver, is making she's giving an announcement. The dinner is ready. All right, and now we have the dining room. Everybody comes there. Bill comes, Jean comes. All right, Barbara, Karen, all the characters. Little Charles, Charlie. Everybody comes. Ivy also, right? Ivy comes. All right, all the members come there. They are about to have their funeral dinner, and as they are getting ready to have everybody, all of them, right? Remember, all the members. Violet, not Violet right now. But Violet comes after some time, right? Matty, Faye, Charlie, Little Charlie, Ivy, Karen, Jean, Steve, Barbara, Bill. All right, all of them come there, and at that very moment, okay, we have Matty Faye. She has brought some food from her home, and Matty Faye is asking Charlie to take that casserole. All right. Now Little Charlie is going out to the car. The casserole containing the food is kept in the boot of the car of Matty Faye, and Little Charlie, Matty Faye's son, goes out to take the casserole. All right, and when he is out, we have a meeting between. All right, so now we see Little Charlie outside the dining room going out to take the casserole, and we have a meeting between Charlie and Ivy. They meet in the car porch. All right, and in that meeting, Little Charlie is apologizing to Ivy that he is so sad that he missed the funeral. And from this we understand that there is, of course, a kind of intimate relationship, more affection, more affinity between the characters Ivy and Little Charles. All right, okay. So she later she says that all right, she is so sad, right? And she says that she is sad because her father is no more there. She also missed Little Charlie during the funeral, and she says, I am on one of the worst days of my life. I'm on one of the worst days of my life. All right. So remember, Barbara, she says some time ago, my world is falling apart. Now, Ivy says, I'm on one of the worst days of my life. All right. And all this shows the mental, emotional condition of the characters. All right. And now now little Charlie, okay, he takes the casserole, he comes back to the dining room, okay, and as he enters the dining room, all right, something happens. What happened? Do you remember? Anybody? Little Charles comes to the dining room, he holds the casserole, he is in the dining room, he is coming to the dining table, something happens. What happens? Anybody? Come on. Yeah.
The vessel falls down.
Very good. That's wonderful, Anita. Exactly. The casserole slips from the hands of little Charlie, and it falls down, and everyone is upset. Think of that situation. Okay, you are getting ready for the dinner, funeral dinner, and you want to have the delicious item from the casserole. Little Charles enters and he drops the casserole, and that moment, okay, we have the very reaction of Mattie Fay. She is rebuking him, scolding him, calling him names, and okay, other members of course just intervene and console. All right, and thereafter, all right, the members, right, everybody, all of them just started the dinner, the funeral dinner, and now enters Violet. She is intoxicated. She has taken a lot of pills, very angry, and she is just exploding there, like she burst into a very furious rebuke, and she just abuses everybody for not praying, right? They didn't have a prayer, or she is very upset about that, most of them. And the gentlemen, they were all asked to, of course, be in formal dress, okay? And after some time, we have a discussion by Violet. Violet just asks if any of them wants the furniture, okay? She speaks about, of course, the property, family property, the wealth, and she just speaks about the absence of Beverly, her husband. Violet, okay, very upset, right? And now, all right, we have Charlie. All right, we said that they didn't have the Thanksgiving prayer to God before having the food. Now, before the death of Beverly Weston, Beverly used to say the prayer. Right now, okay, now after the death of Beverly Weston, the patriarch of the family is Charlie, Mattie Fay's husband, and Charlie, being the senior most man, he just does the prayer. That is, of course, grace prayer, right? That is Thanksgiving prayer. And after that, of course, we have Charlie. We understand that he is stumbling as he prays. He doesn't know the prayer. That is, I'm sure. So is the case of most of the people in maybe Europe and America, or even in India and Kerala. Men, maybe women are very prayerful, devotional, pious, and all. Here, now Charlie, being the senior most, he has to say the prayer. Say this is, of course, say grace. That's it, right? Thank God. The kind of prayer they have before maybe dinners, like funeral dinner or any other dinner. All right, and he's stumbling through the prayer. Still, he prays, and after that, everybody is eating. Now we have a very emotional outbreak of Violet, and Violet is just we understand that they discuss All right, everybody's asking, who prepared the food? The food is very, very delicious. Who made it, right? Who cooked it? And they discussed Jonah, and Violet again, very indifferent response of Violet to Jonah. When everybody is congratulating and praising Jonah, Violet says this way, she is being paid for her work. This is the indifference of Violet, and we understand that Violet was indifferent not only to the servants but also to the members of the family. All right, that's again even to her children and her husband and her sisters or other members of the family and others. She was very indifferent, and this indifference of Violet we can see when she is just responding the fact that Jonah is being paid for maybe cooking, right? All right, and there is some silence after that, and after that they discuss the very property of Beverly Weston, and after that they again discuss the very funeral of Beverly Weston, and we understand that Bill recited the poem of Beverly Weston during the funeral. We know funerals, there will be some kind of paying homage, some speeches and all. So during the funeral, Bill, the son-in-law, recited a poem of Beverly, and there is a discussion of the poetry of Beverly Weston. All right, and Steve is being introduced right now. Okay, and when Steve is introduced, Violet is just asking, who is this man? She doesn't know who Steve is, right? And that's very insulting to Steve and Karen. And Karen thereafter talks about her marriage, her husband Steve, and we have, of course, maybe it's an awkward scene in which, okay, Steve should be feeling awkward, but he is into maybe so many awkward situations because he is, we know, he is not a very good character, right? and he can, of course, right, it's not a problem for him. Maybe somebody else in the position of Steve wouldn't be there, right? Or other maybe, of course, anyway, it's of course a very, very uncomfortable situation for others, because when the very mother-in-law is asking you, who are you here, why are you here? All right, because Violet is again drunk and all. Now we have Karen intervening. Karen is talking about Steve. All right, and thereafter we have the dinner goes on, and now we have, of course, some fun there. Maybe this is some kind of black humor. So everybody is having the food, right? And Violet is very, very intoxicated. She's talking this and that. Meanwhile, there is some fun there, like Charlie has some problem. That is Mattife's husband, and we understand that he is just coughing, and we understand that a piece of food is stuck in the throat of Charlie, and Charlie is just choking in distress. All right, this is the very humorous situation. And now that it's almost time, just 1 minute or 1 or 2 minutes left, I'll leave you here. I'll be meeting you next day. We will continue from here, of course, next class, right? So thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. May God bless you. Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.